Alright, hi YouTube, and welcome back. I wanted to show off something that I've done recently. Oh, dude.
What?
I forgot one thing.
What'd you forget?
Okay, I want to show off this picture first.
Okay. Maybe you can just like add it as a panel on the. Okay, that works too.
Alright, so right, so basically for y'all who have seen like Rocky Horror Picture Show, Dr. Frank-N-Furter Castle is like pretty cool, right? Well, Dr. Frank-N-Furter's Castle, that famous shot from the movie, it's based on a real castle. They used an image of a real castle, which looked like this. This is the Oakley Court Hotel. This castle is a frickin' hotel. But it's pretty cool looking.
It's not really a defensible castle.
And they put a glass dome on top of it to make it look more like a mad scientist castle for the movie, you know? And I made a replica of the Oakley Court Hotel in Minecraft.
It's more of an interpretation than a replica.
It's a pretty...
The facade's a good replica, but we'll get into the interior shortly. The facade, this facade side of the facade is actually pretty good.
I mean, I had photos of both sides of the hotel.
Yeah. Like, the faces work, it's just how the geometry lines up that's a little unreal. But
not by much.
Not by much, no.
I'm just showing around the whole place.
And obviously,
waiting for the sun to rise.
In creative mode, as you may have guessed from the flight.
Yeah, we're in creative mode right now. Okay, this dense forest around the hotel is not all that accurate.
No, not really at all. There's like a parking lot and field back there, isn't there?
Yeah. And it's in a forested area, but not this densely forested.
It's also in more of a compound
quite that tall.
than next to like a village randomly. There's more stuff built around it. And more of a yard in front. But, yeah. So ignore that village for now. Or for this video.
It's a rainy thunderstorm, which I guess is appropriate.
Yeah, that worked out well. I like that tower.
Yep. And so, I mean, I built this out of photos of the Oakley Court Hotel. And then I added this glass dome on top to make it more like what we see in the Frank-N-Furter Castle on the movie Rocky Horror Picture Show. But when I decorated the interior, it was inspired by some photos of the interior of the real Oakley Court Hotel, as well as inspired by the set of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I tried to do a little kind of a set recreation, but not an authentic replica like the... I mean, the outside of the hotel is like pretty faithful to the real hotel, whereas the interior is more inspired by the set of Rocky Horror Picture Show and inspired by the hotel.
Even where the rooms look right, they're probably not where they would have been given the movie.
In Gregorian era castles, and I don't know if this castle was built in the Gregorian era.
I don't think it's a castle, truly.
I mean, that depends on the era that you're getting your definition of castle from. Sure, it's not... Strategically, it's not a military castle.
No, does it have crenellations? I guess that's the...
It has crenellations,
Alright,
but they're like
castle.
those fake crenellations that are decorative.
Yeah, okay.
Although there is
Crafty
walkways.
castle.
See, there's walkways
It's a
by the
crafty castle.
crenellations. On the real castle as well, there's like walkways by the crenellations, which I suppose technically... But anyway, in Gregorian castles, I don't know if Oakley Court was built in Gregorian times, but it's definitely, if it was built later than Gregorian times, it was definitely built as an homage to Gregorian castles. Particularly this twisting pattern right here that they did with the bricks. This sort of alternating zigzag pattern of the white bricks in the red bricks. And we see that zigzag pattern all over the castle.
Did you actually show them the castle?
Like over here. Yeah, I showed a photo.
Okay.
I showed one photo. I didn't show all the reference photos I used.
Okay.
That would take some time to do. But the point is, I'm talking about this zigzag pattern on the white brick.
Yeah.
Very common on Gregorian castles, and Oakley Court is definitely either a Gregorian castle or an homage to Gregorian castles, particularly with the coloration and the designs. Not only that, but also these, you know, little pillars with the white caps like that. The red brick pillars, the white caps going up in that triangular pattern. That is also very typical of the Gregorian castles. And they would have these crenellated towers as well. On Gregorian castles. These mini, yeah, there's a mini one, and here's a bigger one. But Oakley Court does indeed have two of these little towers. Although this kind of also counts as another crenellated round tower. But it's like different because it has the big triangular roof kind of motif as well. And it's kind of square shaped a little bit. Or rather, no, it's octagon shaped.
Yeah.
Rather than round like the other ones. So that's kind of an interesting distinction. And I tried to decorate the windows accurately, but that's hard to do with the Minecraft pieces at the right scale. So I did my best job decorating these windows. And there really is, I mean, as you saw in the photo, there really is this much ivy growing on the windows. Like, that's not an exaggeration. At least during certain times, they trim it back, it regrows. And it's just a pretty fancy looking place. Which it seems to, by the way the architecture is, I'm guessing that it was like partially built and then they added to it over time. Is what I would guess.
I mean, if you look at the compound, that's very obvious, because the buildings that aren't actually this one, some of them are very modern, but then they're sitting next to, like, old ones.
Like, right over here, where this berry bush is, and this beach, there's some very modern-looking buildings that are, like, I think are built to, like, house the staff and some equipment and stuff.
But then right next to them, there's, like, ancient-looking sheds at the same time.
And but the castle proper... The main building, I replicated both sides of it, although overall it may be a little skinnier than it is in real life. But mine isn't...
Some squishing may have occurred, but...
Some squishing may have occurred, but my exterior really isn't that different. It's not an exact replica, but it's a pretty good replica. And this is the main entrance, which I have a photo of that somewhere, but whatever. Go look it up! Google it, and you'll see that it's kind of similar to this. There would be a fountain right here that I'm eventually planning on adding. Although there's also a big driveway that I'm not planning on adding. Anyway, if we go into the main entrance here, we are now inside the hotel. We got our main doors. And then here's the spiral staircase. Although, if we just go out this door... This is the door Brad and Janet knock on at the beginning of the movie. Knock, knock. Riff Raff answers the door, and they're in this room. Which, if you remember, Riff Raff leans on this skeleton clock and sings and stuff. Well, here it is. Here's the skeleton clock from the movie. And spider webs and stuff. And this wallpaper is inspired by the real interior of the hotel. We come around here to the spiral staircase, and here's the banister that you see Magenta slide down. It's obviously taking some liberties with the set. This is my kitchen that I built into the hotel. You know, we got a witch's oven over here. Various tools for cooking foods with and foods to go with them. Got a stove. A ladder that goes up to the freezer, but we'll talk about the freezer later. And here's the main dining room. We got some zombie flesh here, because this is the main dining room that you see when they serve up Eddie in the movie. So you know, I mean, for that, normally there wouldn't be a coffin right under the dining room table. That was like Frank-N-Furter's gag of the night.
One would imagine.
I built a little reception room in here.
Oh, nice.
For accepting new customers in the hotel. We're into the restaurant, rather. Restaurant part of the hotel.
So you can see it's pretty big once you get inside.
Yep. And this hallway goes over to the ladder that would take us up into the tower. And here, just like in the movie, it's a spiral staircase around an elevator.
Some liberties were taken with how the elevator operates.
Well, yeah, it's a Minecraft elevator, so it's made of water. It's not one of those realistic mechanical elevators. And, yeah, the spiral staircase.
Those are hard to get into tight spaces without a lot of particular mods that we didn't have installed.
But the spiral staircase works. The elevator works.
It looks about right. It's a decent effect. The water doesn't spill. And yeah.
Here's the swimming pool. Here is some hotel rooms. There's a ladder up to the freezer again. Here's some hotel rooms with beds and tables in them. Luxury, expensive hotel rooms. It really break the bank to live here. To stay here. And here's like a tiny little bedroom that I made to like sort of replicate the curtained bedroom that Frank-N-Furter sticks Brad and Janet in. Because it's really just one bedroom with different lighting. And then if we go the opposite side of the building, here's the theater, dance hall, throne room. I just decided that the dance hall, throne room, and the theater in the movie, I could do those as one set piece. So this is
certainly be more cramped if you tried to fit them all separately.
Yeah, so here's Frank-N-Furter's throne, and if you just draw these curtains, it becomes the theater that they have their show on, all dressed fancy.
And where'd you get those candles from again? Like what mod?
I think it's Bibliocraft.
Okay.
I think most of this stuff is from most of the cool stuff, like these chairs, the throne, the candles, like
tables.
the tables, like in here, this table, all this cool stuff is from Bibliocraft. One of my favorite mods. I love bibliocraft. Frank-N-Furter talks about rose tint my world, keep me safe from my trouble and pain. Well, there's a rose. Little picture of a rose. Old school rose that got replaced by the other flower. And if we go behind the curtain, here's like a little green room cafe. If you notice, I have all these different banners with the creeper face on them in red and blue. And here we are in the tower. And if we take a ladder up, the top of the tower just sort of extends the cafe. It's this little, like, cafe garden space.
Oh, yeah, and some of this green room stuff was done with garden stuff.
Oh, yeah, some of this is garden stuff.
Stuff.
Like these planters.
Yeah.
They're very cool. I love these planters. They were the color I needed. And, if you notice, the spiral staircase stops here. Because there was no stairs into the lab, you had to take an elevator into Frank-N-Furter's lab. And here we are. Here's the weird machine the vat of goo that Rocky was up in.
And that's some fossils and archaeology lab equipment with some red buttons on it, basically.
And here we are. Here's the balcony.
That was pretty good.
Here's the railed balcony that all his compatriots were standing on to watch the show. And if you recall, Eddie busts out of the freezer at one point. Well, here's the freezer. And there's Eddie! Hi, Eddie! So Eddie is in the freezer, sees zombie head, because he does come back as a zombie in that movie. Of course, that's when we first learn about him. He's coming back as a zombie. Just above the freezer, just a little food storage area. I thought it made sense. You know, we got zombie meat and leather in the freezer here. And so Eddie, you know, busts out of the freezer into the lab, if you recall. If you also recall, in the movie, the lab, Frank-N-Furter can press a button and the lab opens up into the master bedroom. Well, here it is. Here's the master bedroom, folks. With the big bed.
Big old bed.
I believe this is garden stuff that I made the bed out of.
Oh, yeah, that's actually grass.
Topiary grass.
Topiary. No, that's not garden stuff. That's Natura.
Natura. Topiary grass. Beautiful stuff. Got these candelabras. If you recall, this is the candelabra that Riff Raff taunted Rocky with in the bedroom. And, so, yeah. That is my Rocky Horror Picture Show set inside my replica of the Oakley Court Hotel, which was the inspiration for Frank-N-Furter's Castle.
Now, did we see the tower fully?
Well, no. There's one more set piece. That's right. Let's start at the top and go down. Oh boy. So, couple rooms that weren't in the movie, I'm gonna go over. This is like Frank-N-Furter's private study, where he studies his super science and his magic and stuff. Right? This is where he researches, like, creating life from unlife. Or something. Where he researches the secret to life itself. But he gets a nice view up here. And that'll bring us... Let's bring us down. This is Frank-N-Furter's little workshop. If he needs to make a science gadget, this is where he does it. I know it wasn't in the movie, but, like, you know, it's right above his lab. I figured it made sense. I had this tower that I needed to fill with rooms, so I decided Frank-N-Furter could do some sciencey stuff in here in this workshop. Now to a room that was actually in the movie. When Professor Von Scott, Achtung, when he first arrives at Frank-N-Furter Castle, Frank-N-Furter is sort of aghast that Dr. Scott was in the Zen Room. And then it shows Dr. Scott in the Zen Room. He's like next to a bong. And he's like holding a little roach. Like on a clip. He's got a roach clip. And it's clearly like a stoner room where they're like smoking bongs. It's the Zen Room. They're like smoking a big bong in there. There's Indian music playing. You know, Dr. Scott finds a lit roach or something. And he's like, oh. And so this is Frank-N-Furter's room that him and his lackeys get high in. So we got some lavender and a brewing stand for the bong. And some mushrooms, some weird looking mushrooms. And this potion, this magic potion. And some shears that I thought looked cut like a roach clip. But I don't really know what roach clips look like. I don't own any roach clips. So, I mean, and it's got some paintings and a cool carpet pattern. Because I figure if they're going to get all zoned out and stuff, you know, they'd probably want to meditate on some cool paintings in a nice looking room. It was pretty dark in the movie, so I took a lot of liberties. You only see it in one shot. But here it is. Here's the Zen Room that Dr. Scott is in. And, yeah. That's my Oakley Court Hotel. Inspired by the set of Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I feel like I did a pretty good job, given that it's Minecraft and that I was setting the set of Rocky Horror Picture Show inside the Oakley Court Hotel. Really, originally, I just wanted to build a castle inspired by Frank-N-Furter's Castle from that movie. So when I went to get some photos, I realized, oh, Frank-N-Furter Castle was inspired by a real castle. So instead I started building inspired by that real castle, and I basically just ended up recreating a facade of the front of the castle. So I was like, fuck it. I'll get some photos of the back of the castle, and I'll create another facade of the back of the castle. And that's what I did. And there was just enough space in between those two facades to make something inspired by the set of Rocky Horror Picture Show that was also inspired by the real Oakley Court Hotel. Given that it's Minecraft, I did a pretty damn good job. And at night here, if you look up at it, it really looks like that shot of Brad and Janet looking up at Frank-N-Furter's Castle in a thunderstorm. So I suppose it's fitting that we started the video during a thunderstorm. Well, that's Jasper Worsley's version of Frank-N-Furter's Castle. I hope you guys who are Rocky Horror Picture Show and Minecraft fans at the same time, I don't know how big of an overlap that is, but I hope anyone who falls within that overlap enjoyed this video. You know, I got inspired and I did a thing. So, like it says on this sign, don't dream it, be it. And then there's the lips. A nice little manicured bush that looks like the lips from Rocky Horror. So, have a good one, everybody. Really. Do something that inspires you. Or do something because you're inspired. Or whatever. Just like do something or feel inspired. And have a really good one.